Good evening, friends, and welcome to the Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living, to this evening's Spiritual Mind Healing Service. I'm practitioner Sandra Cooper, and I will be, taking us on a little Lenten journey this evening for the next, say, 45, 50 minutes or so that we're going to spend together on this wonderful virtual magic carpet. So before we go into the message, I want to just share a brief meditation with you. So just take a deep breath in. And exhale. With every breath out, just feel all the cares of today's activity, or meetings, or engagements, or contacts with others. We want to call them. Relax. Be present. Take a couple of moments to allow sense of our divine essence. Just so gently around us, expressing through us as we listen to the strains. Settled and aware. And that breath is a breath of life. So this consciousness as we ideas of our hearts articulate present. We allow ourselves to open to the words that are spoken. Know that every experience that we have this Okay. Welcome back. And so this evening, I'm going to share a few ideas with you on my topic, which is Lent without limits. You know, I want to start with a question, and I want to ask you to just jot down the answer as just as you remember, or as the question stimulates a response from you. I want you to just go back to when you were a child. And I want you to think about what childhood memories or traditions around Lent shaped your understanding of the season, and how has your perspective evolved? So, one, what childhood memories or traditions around Lent shaped your understanding of the season, and how has your perspective evolved? I won't ask you to answer just yet, but I just want you to jot down what comes to mind. So I'll just give you a few seconds to do that. What childhood memories come up for you? Things that are outstanding around Lenten practices when you're a child growing up. And how has that perspective evolved for you? Maybe a few more seconds. And you can continue to think about it as we go along. Okay. So we're about 2 weeks into Lent. And I know that it holds some very interesting memories for me, because as a child growing up, Lent was a time when everything shut down. The elders took it very seriously. So silence and stillness were expected, not by choice, but by force. We couldn't laugh loud, we couldn't play music, we couldn't play outside, especially after sunset. And heaven help you if you even thought about eating meat on a Friday. It was about the tin mackerel and fried dumplings, because the real fish was being saved for Good Friday. So fast forward now, and it's decades later. And thankfully, coming out of this wonderful teaching that we call the Science of Mind, I now have a different perspective of Lent. I know that Lent is not about restriction. It's about reflection. It's a time to slow down, to listen, right? To become aware. It's not just about sacrifice or the external practice of giving up this and giving up that, but an inner awakening to something much deeper, much greater. It's about giving in to deeper reflection, higher consciousness, and divine connection. And in this space, Lent has absolutely no limits. In the Science of Mind, we recognize that Lent is not seen as a time of suffering, but of spiritual renewal. It's a conscious shedding of limiting beliefs and a rising into the highest awareness of who we are. Lent invites us to pause, to look within, and to reflect on the stories we tell ourselves. Are they stories of separation, fear, and limitation? Or are they stories of love, faith, and possibility? Too often, Lent is reduced to a checklist of things to avoid. No meat on Fridays, no sweets, no social gatherings. But this sacred season is not about deprivation. It is about liberation. It's an invitation to release not just physical indulgences, but the limiting thoughts, beliefs, and patterns that keep us from fully expressing our highest selves. You know, the master teacher, Jesus the Christ, spent 40 days in the wilderness, not as punishment, but in preparation for him to step into his divine identity. This season then provides for us a chance to align with our true nature and let go of thoughts and habits that no longer serve us. So let me put it to you. What if Lent wasn't about restriction, but about expansion? What if instead of giving up, you could open up to deeper reflection, greater awareness, and a more powerful connection with God? When we reframe Lent as a time of spiritual possibility, we move beyond merely saying no to distractions and we start saying yes to transformation. What if this Lent, instead of just giving up chocolate, you gave up self-doubt? Instead of avoiding parties, you stepped boldly into authentic connection with others. Instead of fasting from food, you fasted from fear and small thinking. You know, this time is an opportunity for us to build our spiritual consciousness and to really expand our awareness of the Christ presence. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, taught that fasting is not about depriving the body, but about letting go of thoughts that starve the soul. For example, Fillmore said that we need to fast from doubt and feast on faith, to fast from judgment and feast on compassion, to fast from fear and feast on love. So here's another question you want to think about. I'm going to give you a few moments as well. What is one limiting thought, habit, or belief that you now choose to fast from? And what higher consciousness would you like to feast on instead during this Lenten journey? So you want to look at one limiting thought, habit, or belief that you're going to now fast from, and what is one higher consciousness thought that you'd like to feast on instead. Give you a minute, a few moments to ponder that. Okay, so we have another 4 or so weeks to go for this period of Lent. So I invite you to embrace it as a sacred flow, a coming and going, a releasing and receiving, a deepening and a rising, letting go of what no longer serves and opening to the divine wisdom inside of us. Through our daily prayer, mindfulness, and sacred silence, we cultivate the consciousness that Jesus demonstrated, a consciousness that sees beyond appearances and into divine truth. You know, this is just a by the way. Jesus, he didn't walk the journey alone, and we also don't need to walk our journey alone. This is how he did it on the night before his crucifixion. Matthew 26, 36, 38 to 38 tells us. Then Jesus went with them to the olive grove, with them as the disciples, that place called Gethsemane. And he said, "Sit here while I go over there to pray." He took Peter and Zebedee's 2 sons, James and John, and he became anguished and distressed. He told them, "I am deeply grieved, even to death. Remain here and stay awake with me." End of that scripture. So Jesus sought the spiritual and emotional support of men he trusted, asking them to stay with him while he prayed. And we won't go into what happened when he came and they were sleeping and so on. But he asked people to support him while he prayed. He even went so far as to admit his distress to them. He let himself be vulnerable. He asked for help when he needed it. You know, many of us pretend to be tough. So something is, not working so well, and we're asked about it, and we say, "Oh, I'm fine." And, we do this when we are in a difficult place. So we need to follow Jesus's example. We need to pray. We need to ask for help and be open about our feelings. This is part of the work we need to do during this Lenten time. And to trust that in all things, we are deeply connected to each other and to the infinite source. So I'm inviting you to move with the flow of this Lenten season, not resisting, but allowing ourselves to reflect, to awaken, and to reconnect with the divine presence that has always been with us. And as we do, we rise, renewed, transformed, and free. I will leave you with an affirmation that says, I walk in faith, I rise in truth, and I live in divine connection. I am renewed, I am transformed, I am free. And so it is. Namaste. Okay. Welcome, welcome. And so I want to go back to, Cecile, good to see you. I want to go back to the question I asked at first. Remember, I asked you about your own childhood, memories of Lent and Easter. Who would like to share? What is one thing you remember about what you were required to do at Easter time, especially during the Lenten period before the actual Easter weekend? Carol, I know you always have a lot of stories.
No beach.
Oh, Reverend Ann, go ahead. Oh, you couldn't go to the beach. Oh, yeah, I remember that quite well. But then it says the parents would take us to the beach, so we couldn't go anyway because they weren't going.
Not at all.
Who else? Carol Campbell.
Yes, well, I have several memories, not the least of which is bun and cheese.
That was a good one.
Which mommy always made bun, so we always had to. I still have the basin, okay, that we used to rub up the dough in. So we had to rub the dough for the bun, and you ate bun and cheese morning, noon, and night. And on Good Friday you had fish, fried fish.
Yes.
And we did have a tradition of, we would always go to Black River for Easter because of the Black River Flower Show on Easter Monday.
Oh, that was your mother's thing.
That was mommy's thing. And, we were young enough that we couldn't stay home by ourselves. So we had to go. And as part of going down for Easter, we would always go to Bluefields. And I kind of remember having to give up stuff, but it wasn't a big deal. It was like, okay, so you can't eat meat. Well, we weren't starving. We have other things to eat. So,
Okay.
it didn't matter that you couldn't eat meat. And I think I was, at the time that I'm remembering, I am young enough that I don't have any burning desire to do anything specific besides eat bun and cheese.
No, man, it was, lock up shop, don't play, can't make noise.
No, we could play, but we couldn't make noise anyway.
Okay.
But
all right,
yeah.
Thank you for that. Who else would like to share briefly?
I have some memories.
Yes, Auntie Lil.
East Queen Street Baptist Church on Good Friday, 3 hours of service, and listening to Surely He has borne our grief and carried other, and listen to the old rugged cross, and 3 hours of service.
So,
but then Easter Sunday came, and the white dress and all of the nice songs.
The pretty Dan.
Yes.
So a question, how have some of the old traditions evolved, especially around our thinking? What has shifted for us now that we are older and we have a different perspective on the Lenten period? Reverend Ann.
For me, well, being quiet, because this is what really happened when we were children. So, no beach and the rest of stuff. But being quiet for that entire season, and it has stayed with me, and I still appreciate the reflective mood that somehow my nervous system seemed to settle down at this time of the year. So, it stayed with me because, as you say, we had to stay inside, find book to read, and the rest of stuff to keep us quiet. But I can't remember. You have the 3 hours. I can think. I think they used to have this thing from Thursday night into Good
Holy
Friday.
Thursday, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we had to.
I grew up Catholic and that was part of the whole.
I'm Methodist, so I
Okay.
don't know where I get that from. Where we have to go.
So
We
before
sit
we
down
move in-
somewhere.
before we move into our prayers, just anybody would like to share what is one limiting thought, just as we move forward through the next couple of weeks, what is one thing that you want to fast from? I mean, we're not talking food now, we're talking about old habits, paradigms, behaviors, ways of thinking that you would like to say, get thee behind me.
Me, Sandy, I'd share on that.
Jennifer, hi. Yeah.
Yeah, negative self-talk. You talk yourself out of your own good sometimes, all not even conscious that you're doing it.
That's so true.
And it's so easy for you to slip into that. So I want to give that up for this period for sure.
So when we talk about a time for reflection and just becoming aware, so when the thoughts come up, we can say, as a friend would say, yeah, get thee behind me, you don't serve me any longer. So what will you feast on instead?
Well, I'd feast on uplifting literature. So read something. It's always good. Reread something. Any of the little Lenten booklets, they always have some good things in there. That little Unity booklet that's shared with us.
Yes.
I would feast on those kinds of uplifting literature.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks for that, Jennifer. Who else? What do you want to fast from and feast on? Miss Charlton. A call on you. Carol? Carol Campbell, your hand is. Sorry, Carol, sorry, go ahead.
I was never in any tradition where you had to give up anything. I was pretty free. Never had those restrictions. But if I have to fast from anything, it's just at this time, they jump into judgment about situations, stories we hear around us about what's happening all over the place, or even about people, your relationships with people, just the negative criticism, if you will.
And the bad speak.
And the bad, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the things the sins that so easily beset us, as one of the epistles talk about.
It just crossed my mind. I soon come to you, Carol. It just crossed my mind that, I remember the idea of temptation. The name Lucifer means bringer of light. And the temptation is so strong these days to speak negatively of things, orange. And it really is an opportunity for us to really build our awareness, because what we're looking at, we're looking with. And that's one of the, as Reverend John would say, a big frog to swallow. That what we are going to recognize and criticize, we're really reflecting that within us that is perhaps not, it may not be a very healthy part of our being. Carol, and then we're going to go into prayer.
Yes, and that is why for Lent I have decided to give up the orange thing.
And go strawberries instead.
Yes, and I will try chocolate instead.
I hear you.
Because it doesn't serve me well.
Yeah.
And you can very easily get sucked in, because you're bombarded with this stuff.
Correct.
24/7. So
yeah.
For Lent, I have given up anything about orange.
Yes. Okay. All right. So guys, this is a time where we look at what are the areas in our lives that we would like to receive some prayer on. You can talk about money, financial affairs, your health, you want a decision that you have to make, so you want right action. You want to just peace of mind. You want to just have clarity, to just open up to God's wisdom. So take a moment and just write in the chat what areas you want prayer around, and we will do that just now. So, Vance, are you seeing anything in the YouTube?
No.
Not yet. Okay. George, breakthrough. Okay, so when you say you want prayer for a breakthrough, or are you celebrating a breakthrough? Write it and then I will do it. Okay, in the meantime, manifestation of plans. Got that. Okay, who else? Cecile, good or better health. Okay, got that. I love that. All right. Auntie Lil, guidance. Or on travel, got that. What is that, Reverend Anne? There was something else that you said that I didn't quite
The
get.
same thing for George, breakthrough with manifestation of plans. I said add and to that too. So when you
for yourself, okay.
George and Ann, yes.
All right. Carol also for help. I could add myself to the list too. Right action for Carol Campbell. And I saw financial flow as well. No, right action for Jen. And financial flow. Okay. For Carol. Yeah, okay. Take a deep breath. And exhale. And recognize and know that God is the divine presence and power that expresses in and through and as each and every one of us. So I speak my word now for George and for Anne, for the perfect manifestation of plans. We know that God knows all things, and that the divine presence of wisdom and divine order is that which knits every activity together, activities in our business affairs, in our personal affairs. We know that whatever plans that Reverend Anne has, that George has, and anyone else has, those plans are now perfectly unfolding. Whatever resources are required are now drawn to them. I know that the finances that are required to purchase equipment and to do whatever is needed, all of this is provided because it all comes from the givingness of spirit. And so for George and for Anne, I'm just seeing the perfect unfoldment of their plans. Every idea perfectly knitted in the tapestry of a perfect outcome. It truly is God expressing in and through and as each of them. And for anyone else who is open and receptive to these words. And so I declare perfect divine order expressing in Anne's and George's plans at this time. I know it's all God and it's all good. And with the assurance of knowing that God is large and in charge, I release these words and just know that they're fully, perfectly, and joyfully accomplished whereunto they're spoken. I give thanks in the knowing that all this is so now, and so it is. I'm going to do health. So health for Cecile, for Carol, myself, and anyone else who is open and receptive to the idea of health. We declare and know that God is a presence and that expresses in and through and as each and every one of us. It is that which made us out of itself, that declared that we are perfect, whole, and complete. And knowing that every cell and fiber of our beings, from the top of our heads to the soles of our feet, is a full expression of God. We affirm this wholeness, knowing that every system, every organ, every function of our physical bodies is working in perfect harmony. We know that any experience of pain or discomfort, any condition, any sense of dis-ease, that this is not the truth about who we are. And we know that we are guided to do what we need to do to return ourselves to the perfect expression that we are. And so I give thanks for healing. I give thanks for to know that the body does what the body does, because it's God in action, every single part of it. So we rise into this new expression of health. We rise into that sense that every aspect of our physical bodies is working in perfect order. We see clearly, we hear with clarity, we know that we speak words of truth, we digest, our hearts and our lungs function perfectly. Our bodies eliminate as it should. Everything is working perfectly because it's God in action, in, through, and as us. I know that this is the truth. I accept it for myself. I accept it for Cecile. I accept it for Carol and for anyone else who is receptive to it. And in the spirit of knowing that, yes, it is all God and it's all good. My body, our bodies, the fullest and most perfect expression of who and what God is. And for this, I am grateful. And in that sense of gratitude, I release my word and just know that it is accomplished. It is done as I believe. I rejoice that this is so. And so it is. Guidance, clarity. And I'd like to also include, this is guidance for Auntie Leila as she travels. I'm going to miss you. And also for the Gardner family. Vance's sister made her transition a couple of days ago, so we speak for the Gardner family. And Yvonne is requesting a treatment of clarity. No, Yvonne requesting a treatment of clarity. Okay. Okay. God is light. That light surrounds each and every one of us. That light expresses as each and every one of us. And in that light, we truly dwell. I know it is a light that is Lilith right now as she prepares to travel. I know that it is the light of Vance and his family as they experience the transition of their beloved sister, auntie, mother, family member. I know that it is the light that is expressing in Yvonne's life right here now. And so we know that the divine presence that expresses in each and every one of these wonderful souls is revealing to them what they must do, where they must go, what they must say, what decision they must make, what choice is for them that allows for their highest and best. I know that there is always light shining on every situation that reveals what needs to be revealed for each person. And so I give thanks for the presence of God's light, of God's illumination, of clarity, of wisdom, and the understanding that all is unfolding as it should. I give thanks for the presence of light and clarity expressing in all persons in this experience. I give thanks now as I release my word to the law that brings it into being. Thank you, God, that this is so, and so it is. And for Carol, for financial flow with ease and grace, wow. We know that God is our source. And that source is infinite. We are one with this source, and it is that which provides for us in every way. It is that which brings us food. It is that which provides perfect transportation. It is that which brings us exciting, stimulating work. And it is that which manifests as money substance. I know that this substance is infinite because the substance is God expressing. And so for Carol and anyone else who is receptive, I know that we dip into the wellspring of God's abundance, knowing that it is truly the Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. That this storehouse is truly infinite. It don't finish ever. So we just open our consciousness to accept it, to claim it, to know that it is ours by right of being, to know that whatever is required, whether it is for to deal with any obligation, our finances, our health needs, whatever is required. And there's no small, large or small in God's storehouse. There's just this never-ending flow of God's good pouring into our coffers, into our bank accounts, into our pockets, our purses. There's more than enough to provide for us, to share, to invest, to enjoy. And so we raise our consciousnesses now to claim it, to know it, to believe it, accept it, that it is the Father's good pleasure. And we experience this pleasure. We experience in ways that allow us to live this life abundant. For this I am grateful. I know for Carol and anyone else who is receptive to these words, that their cup of good overflows and all is well. There's no sense of lack or limitation, and we know, declare that these now are banished into nothingness. We just know God's goodness, God's givingness, and we claim it and accept it because it's ours now. And so I release my word just knowing that abundance is ours because Father said so. I claim it, I know it, and I just let it be so now. And so it is. And then last one. I think I saw Jennifer, right action in my business affairs. I think I did that at I didn't think, let me do it for you again. A joyous, loving spirit for Karen. Carol, right action, touching on a neighborhood issue. Okay. Wow, so right action, right action in Jennifer's business affairs. Right action on a neighborhood situation. And Karen, I'll do yours last. Okay. So we affirm God, equally, evenly present, that which knits this entire universe together, that makes the sun rise in the east and the sunset in the west. We know that everything is in perfect order. And so we declare that this order, this sense of right unfoldment, right action is now taking place in Jennifer's business affairs. It's taking place in Carol's community. Because wherever God is, there is love, there's peace, there's joy, and there is right action. And so whatever is required for the harmony and the right action of relationships in Carol's community, I'm knowing that that is provided right now. I know for Jennifer's business, that every aspect, her accounts, her human resources, her sales, her everything is in order. And whatever she needs to know or do is revealed to her. Because as one with the infinite presence and power of God, she's part of the one mind, that one presence, that one power that guides and directs. And so for her business, I just see it flourishing, thriving, just filling with all the bounty that makes it a successful, thriving business affair, business enterprise. And so I give thanks to see Jennifer's business thriving. I give thanks to see Carol's community just with everyone working together in love and peace and harmony. And there's nothing that can stop this, because nothing ever stops God. I know that that is the truth. I accept this. I believe this. I release these words and just know that they are accomplished fully, powerfully, awesomely. And I know that this is so now. And so it is. And I think the last one is for you, Karen. Anything on YouTube, Vance? Karen.
No, nothing else.
Okay, thanks, Vance. Joyous, loving spirit. Oh, I know God is joy. God is love. That is who we are. We're made out of love. And embedded in our DNA is a spirit of joy. And for Karen, I know that this joy is just bursting forth. It's her effervescent nature. And it just finds avenues through which it expresses joy, pure joy. And I know that this joy touches people within her space. As we come into her space, we feel that sense of, I like to be with this person, because it is God expressing. And she can know nothing else but God's joy. And so she continues to maintain this wonderful, joy-filled, loving spirit wherever she goes, to touch, to inspire, to uplift others who come into her space. And I speak this word of joy and love, not only for Karen, but for each and every one of us. And I allow the spirit of joy and love to exude from us as individuals, to just envelop our beautiful island home, our leaders, our politicians, and to allow the spirit to just take itself into the world, and to just sow itself in the hearts of every person across the planet. I declare and know peace, joy, love, harmony as our experience now. So in spite of appearances that are grounded in political decisions and the backing and forthing, we know at the center, God is there and all is well. So I know this as a truth. I accept it, I believe it, and I release it, declaring and knowing that joy is for Karen, as it is for each of us, as it is for the entire cosmos. I give thanks now that all this is joyfully so, and so it is. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just share a couple notices with you. All right. So friends, we are going to have a really exciting treat on the 6th of April at the Temple of Light. We're going to have the Jamaica Youth Chorale in concert. And I heard them last year and I was just bold. You know what? You know me, cry easy. So I go to Universal Singers and a ball. And the JYC, I think I did ball more at the JYC concert. So we are inviting you to come and not to watch me ball, but to enjoy the Jamaica Youth Chorale. Available at the Temple and also at the Music House with Angela Elliott, 214 Mountain View Avenue.
Tickets.
What I say, Reverend Anne?
We have lots of tickets here at the Temple. Only one person took some on Sunday. So please call in, email in. We want you to help us move the tickets.
They're a fabulous set of young performers, and they're I call it the musicology. The music is just phenomenal. This gentleman that leads, his musical talent is just not to be missed. And he makes his group do amazing things. So we hope to be, we expect, we're not hoping, we're expecting to fill the house. Tell your friends, tell your family, and come on over to the JYC, Jamaica Youth Chorale concert on the 6th of April. And then Sunday, March the 3rd, is our Youth Sunday, and we have a very special guest speaker, Reverend Jermaine Mackenzie from the Universal Center for Truth and Better Living. Now,
30th,
Jermaine,
not 3rd.
Huh?
You said 3rd is 30th.
30th, then that's what I did say hello. March the 30th. Jermaine is one of those dynamic young ministers that really fires up when he gets going. And he will be our guest on that Sunday, March the 30th, our Youth Sunday. And so I know it promises to be HOT. So we invite you to make sure you come. Our AGM will be on Sunday, March, that same Sunday. So just make sure you all come out in your numbers for that awesome experience. And we're looking for a board member, our board of trustees, aka Leadership Council. We're looking for someone who is would like to serve our community and help to move us to that place of grand flourishing. You know, so you can bring your CV and share with our minister, Reverend Michelle Senegal, and put yourself up for election come March 30 at our AGM. And a very special event coming up on the 12th of April, the Jeannie Barnes Legal Outreach Program. Jeannie started our legal outreach by just making herself available on a Saturday afternoon. She said, listen, I'm sitting at home doing nothing, so I might as well make use of the time. And so she started our legal outreach program, and it has grown. So we're going to be having Justice David Batts talk about the Jamaica Constitution. All the questions you want to have asked about, the what, the where, the how, and the when, whatever, of our evolution into a republic, you can ask of Justice Batts. Share with your friends and invite as many people as you'd like. It's free, and it's a great opportunity to be part of the conversation about us going Republic. And so next Tuesday, same time, same place, we'll have our spiritual mind healing service with practitioner Jennifer Livingston. Look forward to seeing you again. And if you feel moved to support our ministry, you can donate at donate.templeoflightcsl.org. And we are so grateful for your generosity and for helping us be a beacon of light for the world. And so as you choose to give, just put your hand on your heart. Source of all good where God is. And we say together, lovingly I give, joyfully I receive. Be thou fruitful, increase and multiply. Bless, prosper and enrich everyone whom you touch, and replenish all of my financial affairs. Thank you, Father, and so it is. And we close with our prayers for our center and for Jamaica. So let's do together our prayer for our center. The Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living is a sacred field embodying our spiritual community from which the Christ, peace, love, and joy emanate to touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of the Christ illumines us, our center, and our environment. Our spiritual community is filled with and surrounded by the presence of God and is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands our consciousness of truth, guiding us ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment. We are blessed, and to God be the honor and the glory forever, and so it is. And the prayer for Jamaica. The radiant light of God's love is now flowing through us and from us to everything and everyone it touches. The eternal light of God's love now completely fills, covers, and surrounds our island, Jamaica. The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates and awakens within the hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truths of life which set free. The light of God's love is growing and glowing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind everywhere. Love, health, harmony, goodwill, peace, uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established. And so it is. Okay, so let me just check the chat one last time. Just thank you. So we have come to the end of our Tuesday evening service. Any lastly before I do our closing treatment? Any lastly anyone would like to say? Any question you'd like to ask before we do our closing affirmative prayer?
It was a good talk.
Thank you, Rev.
Prayers were great.
Thank you. Cecile, good to see you. I've been affirming your healing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I have a small question.
Sure.
The session by Justice Batts,
Mm-hmm.
is that going to be screened? Is it live or is it going to be
live?
streamed?
Reverend Anna, are we going to stream it?
No, we're not. We're not.
Live.
Oh,
Live.
okay. So it's live and direct.
Okay, 4 o'clock. And yes.
yes.
And what day of the week is that again?
It's
Saturday.
It's a Saturday. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Okay.
I'll see how it goes because
Okay.
I want to hear more about that constitution thing.
Okay. So we end as we started with God. We know and recognize God as our source, our substance, as that which has no beginning and no end. It is that which brought us together this evening, and it is that which takes us to our respective activities for the rest of the evening. I know we go with a sense of knowing that wherever we go, whatever we do, God is with us, expressing in us, through us, as us, and for us, and all is well. I'm grateful for our time together and knowing that for every one of us who participated in this experienced. I'm knowing that each of us is very specially blessed. And so I release these words now, knowing that the divine presence is blessing us, nurturing us, supporting us as we move along on our way. I give thanks that all this is so now, and so it is.
Yes.
Love and bless you all. Thank you so much for being a part of my own journey. And we will cross paths again soon, soon, soon.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Sandra.
Sandra, for inviting us,
Bye, everybody.